Welcome back to another video, and today this is the trip to the Isle of Wight for the Isle of Wight Takeover with Talkin the hardest.
Go. If you're talking the hardest, gigs better pop up in your thoughts as an artist. Jeez. Talk in the market, everybody wants to know where walking.
So I took a trip to the Isle of Wight for the Takeover. It's the first time I've ever been to the event, and I give you a bit of a story time about my whole trip in total. As some people know, the trip actually runs from the 17th to the 18th of May, and basically a load of nice modified cars go down to the Isle of Wight and completely take it over like you're on Forza Horizon. And usually it is actually a really good event. As I mentioned, this is my first time I ever went to the Isle of Wight, not only just for the Takeover, but the first time I've ever been there myself. And it went a little something like this. So I went down on the 16th. I stayed in Southampton for a night because the stage is still pretty broken, so I didn't want to risk driving all the way there at 5 o'clock in the morning if something did go wrong. So today is the day we finally take the stager to the Isle of Wight Takeover. Now I'm not going alone, like I am today just because I've got to go to Southampton, but basically I'm going to be going with the Talkin the hardest group, which I've been in for quite some time now. They're really lovely lads. They're travelling down in the morning, whereas I'm travelling down now. Reason being, I don't know if the car's going to survive. Now, I know it's like 3 million degrees outside, but Ollie is lovely, and such a lovely gentleman is actually cleaning the car as we speak. And yeah, so just going to get it cleaned, and then I've got to shoot off to go to Southampton, which is going to take me about 3 hours because I've got to stop many times. And then I'm staying in Southampton, and then I can catch. I've got the ferry booked for, it's like 10 o'clock tomorrow or 9 o'clock tomorrow, and then I'll be on the Isle of Wight with the lads. I don't think any of them will really want to be filmed, but I'm going to film as much as I can because on this channel now, it's like the first car show that I've done, and I'm sure Ollie will be going to some soon as well, and probably some together. So let's get the car cleaned, and then let's get over to Southampton, and then we chill. As I got to Southampton, I found out pretty soon my room was awful. Take a look at this. So I finally landed in Southampton, and I'm not going to give you a room tour. I'll give you a mini one because it's all it's going to need of where I'm staying. So door, other end of the room. That's it. So yeah, I'm only here for tonight, so luckily I don't have to do, like, you just have to sleep. That's all I'm gonna do. I mean, that's all I can do really. But the only good thing about this room, and I'll show you for why, is I get a sick view of my car. And look at that bad boy, right there. Look at it. Oh, there's a good car. One of the cringiest things I've ever done. But yeah, I see why this room was like 28 quid, and it's not good, but again, all I gotta do is sleep here. So I'm gonna go to bed, and I'm gonna wake up, I'm gonna meet up with the lads who I'm meant to be down here with tomorrow about 8:15 at one of the Shell garages, and then it'll be Isle of Wight time. See you in the morning. Yes, my room was like a prison, but it was only for one night. That's all it was, one night. But I slept like trash. So it's now the Saturday, and yeah, I'll just play this little bit of a clip.
Good morning. It is currently 5 to 7. I've slept 2 hours. This is probably one of the worst night's sleep I've had in a while. Because not only is this bed and comfy, the road out there is very busy and a lot of people shouting. I'm awake. I've also had to ajar the bed so I can actually use the plug as well. So I'm going to put the bed back. I'm just going to do the morning routine of just get up and brush my teeth, get changed, and then we're going to head over to the services. Well, services of the Shell garage.
So after I woke up, got changed, showered, it was time to head over to the Shell garage in which I'd meet the lads from Talkin the hardest. So I'm at the garage. I have filled up. I did have a bit of a misfire after filling up, so I've taken it around the block. Now I'm just sat waiting for the lads to turn up.
So then we can then make our way over to... We're going to go to the standing order, which is Wetherspoons, just by the actual docks itself. Reason being, we all need a bit of breakfast. They've travelled all the way down from Birmingham straight here without stopping, I don't think. The plan's actually for them to come here and actually fill up. So hopefully we'll see them very soon. Because I am tired. I'm still really tired. Hopefully, yeah, they arrive here soon because I'm quite hungry.
So we went and got some food. It was lovely from the standing order in Southampton. Brilliant spoons. Then we went over to the ferry, in which we were there a little bit early, but do you know what? It was lovely, and we waited to board to get onto the ferry. Then we actually boarded, and as we were going over to the Isle of Wight, it's about an hour. It was a sick view from the ship itself. So near the time that you're docking, they tell you to go back to your car.
So we're just about to, well, we're just docking into the Isle of Wight. And yeah, we've got to go straight to the show to pick up our wristbands and everything. And then we're just going to go to a few car areas around the island. And then we're going to go to the Airbnb we're staying at. And then we're just going to chill. And then we're actually going to the Saturday night party as well. So let's get to the show.
Got off the boat, we went straight over to the Robin Hood Park where it was, and we got our tickets. To be honest, there was no real queue for the actual getting your tickets, so it was lovely. And we did actually see a few nice cars. Then after we got our tickets, we decided to go a bit of exploring because, to be honest, a lot of people go exploring even on the Saturday because the show's not till Sunday. So what we did was actually go over to Military Road, which is quite a common spot, and head over to Hanover Point View parking. And to be honest, there's a few pictures now, and it was actually really good. It was beautiful scenes. So once we finished at Military Road, we went over to the Airbnb that we were staying at. Check-in wasn't until 3 o'clock, so we had a bit of time to kill on the Military Road. And to be honest, it was a lovely Airbnb. We checked in. Now, I didn't film too much of the Airbnb because obviously I'm with the lads. Don't want to throw a camera in their face. Just a bit of quiet time to, spend with the lads themselves. So I get settled into the Airbnb, choose our rooms, and it was lovely. Now, what we also did pay for the Saturday night party. But then this happened.
So we're now in the Airbnb, quiet now because there's people here. I'm not going to showcase it because it's really a bit of a more personal thing. Now, we're not actually going to go to the party tonight because we're drinking. It's going to cost more in taxi fare than it is to go to like local pubs and just have fun. And apparently it's not really that good anyway. So what we're going to do is have that, and then we're going to get to the show tomorrow. Have an issue though. The stage here, I think, is breaking more. Now, when we're driving all around Isle of Wight, the car was getting very hot. Even though the temperature gauges stayed at normal, the temperatures are getting really hot. However, we're going to leave it and we'll see how it goes. Managed to get from Military Road, which is where we were, all the way over to here, back in Cows, or Cows, however you want to say it. I didn't film much because all the cars are going to be at the show tomorrow, which is the main event, so yeah. So we're going to eat, have a bit of a boogie, I think, and then we'll go to the show tomorrow. So good night, see you all in the morning.
So yeah, we didn't actually go to the party. We decided not to. We actually saw a lot of people selling their tickets as well. And it was going to cost over £100 in taxis, it was just no point at that point. We'd never been to the park. We didn't know what to expect, so we didn't want to risk it. So what we did instead is we went out on town and, as I mentioned, had a bit of a boogie. Now, it's Sunday, time of the event. The day it was all going to happen. We got in our cars, went straight over to the Robin Hood Park where it all was, and we got stuck in a queue. Now, I know a lot of car shows do have queues to get in. It's quite common, but we ended up being in the queue for almost 2 hours. Not only was a queue on the road, there was a queue in the actual event because where you sort of go into the event was like a good solid, like even 5-minute drive with no traffic, and it just became painful. Almost claims one of the cars, the MX-5, overheating, but they luckily managed to get in anyway. And there was even a peacock. If you've paid for your ticket, mate. Now, we got into the event, we parked up in our allocated spot, and the mood completely changed. Not only that, is that we felt there was not too much to do. and a lot of the stuff we weren't really interested in. I know they have the rev off, we know we have, you know, the dog competition, was like dog show or anything like that, but it just wasn't for us. Now, not only that, the field was quite bumpy, it wasn't properly cured. It sounds petty, but for anyone with a lowered car, you'll understand where we're coming from. And to be honest, there just wasn't too much. Now, you know, I always respect people who put on these events because they spend a lot of time, a lot of money putting on these events, and it's a great laugh. But for us, it just wasn't too much. Now, they have had a bit of backlash. We do agree with some of it, don't agree with some of it, but either way, here's a quick montage of some of the cars at the show. And that was pretty much all the footage I've got of the show. Now, again, I'm pretty bad with the camera, and because we wasn't really there long, I wasn't able to sort of go around all of them individually like I should do, and I'll learn from next time. But yeah, it was a good show. There was quite a few cars, not as many as we did expect quite a few more. Half of one of the fields was actually pretty empty, so we don't know what happened there, but it was still a good show. Found another stage on there as well. Wasn't the same one, might was a bit of the newer one, but still, you know, being the only sort of that era stager there felt good. And to be honest, we took this banging photo as well, and it was actually sick. So we did actually have a bit of, you know, good fun at the event. Could have been better next time, but you know, hey ho. After the event, we actually then went back to the Airbnb and pretty much just chilled for the rest of the evening.
So we're now back at the Airbnb, and yeah, as you can see, not the greatest. It was so little to do.
We'd been out on the Saturday. Not many places are open on the Sunday, but that's Sunday hours anyway. We went for food, and then we just had a chill at the Airbnb and went to sleep because we're all knackered from the previous night. And then it was Monday, the day we were due to return home. Now, again, we got up, we went for some breakfast, banging breakfast as well on the Isle of Wight High Street. It was amazing. We actually stayed in East Cowes, or whatever you want to say it. Found a breakfast spot, absolutely brilliant. And then we decided, because we had to check out the Airbnb, and then we had a bit of time between then and the boarding of the ferry back to the mainland, we decided to go and find one more spot in which we could try and take some banging photos. And we found this amazing spot, which is quite a big place to go. But first, we went and actually grabbed some the milkshake, the viral one that goes on, especially with the Takeover at Cow's Milk, and you get this really nice glass bottle. It was brilliant. It actually was really good. I had vanilla, and you know, a few cars actually turned up there and then it was time to go to the last spot before boarding the ferry, and that was Culver Down Ruins, located on the far east side of the island. And let me just show you some of the photos and the video we took of that spot. Not only that, we did actually capture 2 flybys of the cars, one of Aiden's RX-7 and one of Owen's Golf GTI, and just listen to them. You can't deny they are sick sounding cars. Then we did have to queue out to get out of the ruins, because there was another photo spot you could go, but we decided not to because time was ticking to get back onto the ferry. So we decided to just leave without taking that photo. We might get it next time, we don't know. And then we turned back up at Cowes again, where we were to board the ferry back to the mainland. And again, there were still a few cars there, as you can see, trying to go back to the mainland really. Because what a lot of people do is they actually stay to the Monday, because everyone trying to get off on the ferry on the Sunday eve after the event can be quite time consuming. Then we got another sick view on the way out. We actually did say goodbye to the Airbnb. We actually sort of like the view of the Airbnb was actually where the ferry was. It was so good. And then we got back to the mainland, and now I am back. And that was my trip to the Isle of Wight takeover with some sound lads. We had a good weekend. Would I go next year? Well, we are deciding to go next year, and depending on where they host the event, we may go just even for the bits outside of the event. Now, what it was, we actually did have a lot more fun outside of the event, driving to multiple places, taking photos of cars, seeing all these nice cars on the street, and then the event, we just wasn't, we was there for a couple of hours. Would we go again? Most likely, yes. Again, you know, fair play to Prestigious Fox for putting on this event like they do every year. Obviously, you know, thankfully for them, it's not just Fords no more, it is actually every car, just to bring a bit of a wider community. And they do actually do a good event, but this year it had a bit of a downfall, which I know most events, again, you can't really help, but you learn from your mistakes. And that's it. That was my trip to the Isle of Wight for the Isle of Wight Takeover 2025. I'd like to say a massive thank you to Talkin and Hardest and all the lads that was there. Honestly, it made it amazing. And I hope you enjoyed the video. And stay tuned for next time, where hopefully we're going to talk about this thing right here. Thank you ever so much for watching. Please subscribe, like, comment, and we'll see you next time.